thanks for joining earlier for the meditation if you joined. We're here now for the yoga portion of today. My wonderful friend Alex here will be demoing the practice. But with that being said, just understanding that every single body is completely different. And so I don't expect you at home to try to mirror exactly what he's doing. I'm here to help you find your own inner teacher. And instead of making it about following him exactly as he is, to kind of instead look for an energetic alignment with each of the postures. And we investigate the energetic alignment so that we can find where our body is today and observe what is safest for us, especially since you guys are practicing at home and away from my eye. So just being really extra cautious today. And so I just wanted to share this practice in this space that inspires me so incredibly beyond what most places do for me. I think it's a really refreshing place to come to, and so I just wanted to send it out to you through the interwebs. So I hope that you can feel some of that energy through the teachings today. And I wanted to also just talk really quickly about what's going on and understanding why it's so important to do these practices with all of the fear and uncertainty that we're experiencing in our lives right now. Letting yourself notice that with fear, there's an increased amount of tension within our body. There's also a lot more rumination in our mind, in our head. So this practice is really wonderful because yoga, according to ancient yogic philosophy, yoga is chitta vritti nirodha, or the stilling of the revolutions of our mind. And so we can begin to still the revolutions of our mind based on these old yogic texts through these 8 steps. And these 8 steps are more like a journey inward. So you go from the really gross body through the asana practice into a more subtle energetic awareness. And once we start to discover the subtle energy within our body, that's when we can finally start to investigate what's going on inside of us, listen more closely to what our body is trying to communicate to us when we're stressed, to take a break, to find more balance, to reset. So using the asana practice to really investigate what it is that we need to do for our body. And also understanding that we can use the asana practice or the posture practice of yoga to understand our habit energies. So noticing whenever you feel frustrated because I've made you hold an asana that you don't really like for maybe more than 3 breaths, then noticing the storyline that's running through your head and trying to detach from that. So I ask you the entire practice to let yourself detach from the storyline and instead to let yourself investigate how the body is experiencing your breathing. And then I wanted to share this really wonderful quote from one of my favorite yoga teachers and breathing teachers. His name is Richard Freeman. So bear with me. It's a longer-ish quote, but it's from what I've ever learned from. So he says, "We find that more important than getting into a remarkably deep backbend or holding our breath for 5 minutes or chanting an entire ancient text from memory is the power of clear observation. We notice that with practice we become increasingly skilled at noticing the content of our mind before we project its patterns out into our bodies and the world. And of all is that we observe our vrittis as they surface, witnessing what is actually arising through the haze of our samskaras, or our habit energies of perception. With this type of in-the-moment observation, which is an essential technique in any yoga practice, we slowly begin to break through the most deeply rooted and intimate forms of conditioning that keep us stuck in unhealthy, ineffectual, and unhappy circumstances within our life. The breaking through happens when we fully comprehend that our conditioned ways of perceiving the world are not only habits of memory, as if we were haunted by dreams, but that they are also physical patterns within the body that over time have rooted themselves in our flesh and in the deepest layers of muscular patterning within our body. When we have a direct experience of this intimate connection between our mind and our physical body, we can then let go and recondition the body, enabling us to be receptive to whatever, rather than reacting to it habitually and thereby potentially missing its essence. So there's been a lot of reactivity lately. It's what happens whenever we are experiencing fear. So try to use the practice today to investigate your mind habits and to investigate present moment awareness through your breathing to see if you can break away from some of these habitual thoughts that generally percolate in your mind as you start to experience fear or frustration or anger. So let's journey inward through the breath and movements. Let's go ahead and get started by coming to laying down on our back. And once we come to laying down on our back, allowing yourself to bend in, going into bridge pose so that your feet are about the distance of your hips. And then notice what it feels like to be fully supported by the earth below you here. Letting yourself notice your spine, maybe even gently tucking the tailbone under so that you can experience your spine connect back down towards the earth. And allowing yourself now to notice your natural rhythm of breathing. Observe how the body feels to draw in the inhale and exhale. And maybe even notice, pay more attention to where you're experiencing the sensations of your breath the most. And then from there, bringing your knees in towards your chest, give your knees a nice big hug. And once you give your knees a nice big hug, feel that spaciousness in your spine. Let yourself draw in a deeper inhalation. Open the lips. Trying to release the exhale more slowly next time. Deep, long inhale. Open the lips. And let yourself start massaging the low back. Go side to side on the low back. Letting yourself notice how it feels to be there for yourself. To offer yourself this kindness and support. Maybe as you move side to side, you notice the part of your body that's asking for more compassion, for more kindness. And maybe you linger on that one side a little bit longer. Find your breath traveling to this part of your body and become aware that you're being there for yourself. You're giving yourself a massage by just letting yourself move side to side. And then allowing yourself to keep the right knee in towards the chest, extend the left leg down towards the bottom of the mat, and start to point and flex the toes, allowing yourself to notice what it feels like to activate these new parts of your body. Maybe you start to notice your shins, your calves. And now go ahead and find both sets of toes pointing actively towards you as you press your left heel away. Keep your right knee squeezed in. And actively press your left heel away from your body so that you experience the energy entering through the left hip flexor. So find your breath entering through that left hip flexor. Feel a nice long inhale. Open the lips. One more time, but this next time let your right knee drop over towards the left and extend your right arm out towards the side. Twist. And as you twist, notice this is your first spinal twist in the practice. Instead of shoving yourself so deeply into it right away, pay attention to how your body is feeling today. Notice what it's asking, trying to observe yourself here and now, experiencing from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. And as you gaze towards the right shoulder, maybe even still trying to relax your right shoulder away from the ear, and then maybe close your eyes here in this first spinal twist. Can you investigate your body from the base of the spine? Let your awareness flow all the way up towards your neck and the crown of the head. And as you exhale, enjoying the warmth, maybe you twist a little bit deeper. And then slowly coming back to center, squeezing the right knee in towards the body one more time. Give it a nice big hug. And then slowly switch legs. Let the right knee go down and bring the left leg up, extending the right leg down. Notice yourself here starting to rotate the ankles. And as you rotate the ankles, can you start to also finally experience these new parts of your body wake up? So becoming so much more aware that this practice is one where we try to journey inward, where we try to let go of thinking and analyzing everything and instead observing how the body feels. So now pressing both heels actively away from the body, keep the left knee squeezed in towards your chest and find your breath entering that right hip flexor. Breathing deeply into that right hip flexor, find spaciousness there. One more nice long inhale. And exhale to bring that left knee over towards the right and extend the left arm out towards the side. As you look towards your left shoulder, try to make sure that you're still relaxing your left side of your neck. So gazing towards the side, but at the same time, still trying to find yourself observing stillness and spaciousness. Can you notice your breath? Where do you feel you're breathing the most? And even as you're hugging in your organs this way, can you still try to feel expansive? So notice what it feels like to draw a nice long inhale from the base spine of the head. And as you exhale, let yourself enjoy the warmth of your exhalation. So stay with that breath awareness. Moment through that breathing. One more nice long inhale. Let your awareness flow through your body. Deeply exhale. Come back to center with that left knee, squeezing that left knee in towards your body. And then from there, go ahead and squeeze both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Once you give yourself a nice big hug, find here if you want to go ahead and roll into a fetal position on your right side to find your way into a tabletop, or if you want to massage your spine further and roll up and down along the spine. And as you roll up and down along the spine, maybe you take your time because that feels really darn good. Or maybe you just come forward into your tabletop position, preparing for tabletop to cat-cow. So once you arrive in your tabletop position, notice what it feels like not to collapse into your wrists or to your shoulders. So let yourself notice how it feels to find the space behind your heart, lifting up towards the sky. Find your neck lengthen as much as it can. You're pressing the crown of the head forward. Find your tailbone lengthening back behind you. And even though your palms are connected to the earth, you're not letting yourself collapse. You're not letting gravity push you down. So press down through your palms, root down, at the same time feel that energetic lift up through your arms. And slowly cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly and open the chest, gaze up. Exhale to round through the spine, tucking the tailbone all the way under. Let yourself notice you're trying to find expansion through the spine when you exhale in the back, and then you're trying to find all of the front part of your torso stretch as you inhale and look up. Go at your own breathing pace. So with this yoga practice, use your breath to transition your movements, noticing that the transitions are almost as important as the final posture. So we use the breath to guide us. When we're uncertain, we find ourselves coming back to that breath awareness, letting us know to either extend or come into ourselves. So continue moving with your breath, deeply inhaling, deepening your exhales, and letting yourself notice how it feels to journey inward through your breath. Finding any organic movement that your body is craving here. Maybe you want to tuck your wrists under so you can massage the back of your wrists. Or maybe you want to allow yourself to gently shimmy slowly side to side with the hips so you feel spaciousness through your ribs. Or you drop the head completely and make circles with your head. Listen to your body. Don't worry about looking at Alex. This is your opportunity to journey inward and listen to your own body. And then from there, slowly moving into a child's pose. For your child's pose, notice here if you want to go ahead and actually either reach your fingertips forward or more so reach your elbows out to the side and find skill in action. So if you're reaching your arms forward, you're also sliding your shoulder blades down your spine. We want always to have space from our shoulders to our ears. So instead of reaching the arms up and doing something like this, try to find that spaciousness. Opposing energies, fingertips reaching forward and shoulder blades going down our spine. Let yourself find your awareness gliding, swirling through your ribs. Find that beautiful sensation of your inhale as it flows from the base of the spine all the way through the ribs, the neck to the crown of the head. And keep on finding that awareness of all of your opposing energies, sending the tailbone back behind you, lengthening the crown of the head forward. Find deeper inhales and longer exhales. And now start to cultivate your ujjayi breath, or that deep ocean sounds breath. So it should be nice and rhythmic, only lengthening our inhales and exhales to the capacity that feels comfortable to us today. Understanding that every body is different, especially when we're under a lot of stress. So let yourself notice here that you're deepening the inhale, and then you sound as you exhale. So it feels almost like you're fogging up a mirror, but now trying this with your lips closed. And then from there, bringing the knees together and slowly moving forward with straight arms into your first upward dog. So being gentle with yourself, noticing arms straight, bring the hip bones forward, upward dog. So just straight into your upward dog. Or maybe noticing if you want to be more gentle, letting your hips come down onto the mats. So Alex is doing it the full way. You can also just be more gentle and allow your legs to remain close to the earth, but what you don't want is for your shoulders to come to your ears. So making sure that whichever version that you're choosing, that you're trying to find length in your heart and that you're lifting your heart. Breathe there. One more inhale, lift the heart, shoulders back. Exhale to a child's pose. We're going to go back and forth like that a few more times. So as we inhale with a deep ujjayi breath, come forward with straight arms, lift the heart, shoulders go back. And as you exhale, slowly shifting back into a child's pose. Inhale to come forward with your upward dog. And exhale for a child's pose. 3 more times, journey with your own breath. Let yourself notice what your body is craving today. So listen to the breath, especially as you slowly exhale in the back of your throats. And on your last one, let yourself stay forward in your upward dog, refining the energy of your upward dog. Move with the breath. So notice here how we have our shoulders nice and open. We are letting our shoulder blades slide down the spine. We're lifting through the heart. And now exhale into your first downward dog. So for your first downward dog, notice if you want to go ahead and bend into both knees at the same time. And notice if you find most of your weight at your shoulders, then try to get the backs of your arms to come a little bit closer to your thighs. But also being mindful that if you have an openness in your body, instead of hyperextending at the armpits, you're just trying to find an upside down V shape almost. So let yourself notice what we're looking for is to feel a hollowness through the low belly so that you can find that wonderful, what they call Uddiyana Bandha energy. So let yourself activate the pelvic floor and pull upward from the pelvic floor. This helps you find more length in your low back. Keep finding your breath. Keep trying to find the space directly below the sitting bones. trying to find that pivoting upwards towards the sky. Find a deep rhythmic breath here, still becoming more and more aware of the Ujjayi breath sounds. Even if the Ujjayi breath is barely audible to anybody but you, find slow rhythmic breathing. One more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. And then from there, looking forward towards the front of the mat, slowly step the feet all the way forward towards the top of your mats. Inhale, lengthen up your spine, halfway lift. Notice here in this halfway lift that it's a straight spine. So if you have tighter hamstrings, then maybe you want to bring your hands to your shins, and then that way you can open up your spine. So you never want to round into your spine for halfway lift, because what we're looking for is to find the energy of the breath activate our cells awareness. So when you inhale into a halfway lift, you're from your forward fold, you're going to roll up through the spine and feel the breath activate awareness in your spine, and then exhale once again, forward fold, bending into the knees, grab opposite elbow, try to find your chest as closely as possible to the tops of your thighs here. Let the head hang completely, feel the crown of the head coming parallel towards the earth, and notice here, you're just trying to find the decompression of the low back. So maybe you want to keep your feet the distance of your hips. And if you know you have tightness in the backs of your legs, maybe you want to bring your elbows onto your knees. And we're just going to hang out here. You're going to give your heart a little bit of a break. You're going to send more fresh blood to your brain and your hearts. And you're going to let yourself actually be with that experience. Can you notice what it feels like to have this fresh new blood moving through your heart space, moving through your brain? Let yourself investigate how wonderful it feels. Can you allow yourself to stay here instead of wondering noticing what it feels like to have the decompression of the low back. Noticing that if you have Alex's flexibility, you can use your awareness at your elbows to feel like anchors for your shoulder blades, decompressing the shoulder blades. So feel the spaciousness and feel your breath. A few more kind inhales and exhales. And then from there, slowly inhaling, releasing the elbows, open up the chest, halfway lift, lengthen up your spine. Exhale, forward fold once again. This time, slowly roll up through the spine. Take your time coming up. The last thing that will come up will be your head. And then, once you reach your awareness at your heart space, let your heart send your arms all the way up overhead. Feel your arms move up with your ribs. Feel your ribs pulling up away from your pelvic floor. Let your palms touch overhead as you gaze up towards your thumbs. And exhale, bringing your hands together at heart center and closing your eyes. So with your hands together at heart center and your eyes closed, let yourself notice what it feels like to create roots through the soles of your feet. As you actively press down the soles of your feet, notice your arches in the insides of your feet. And as you find your arches, start to notice energy moving upwards through your legs, activating the quadriceps, noticing your low belly start to engage. Can you feel more spacious from your pelvic floor to your lowest rib? Feel your ribs lift up. Feel your heart lift. Move your shoulders back and shoulder blades down. Noticing length in your neck. And we're noticing how we're not just letting gravity push us down. We're allowing ourselves to lengthen, find expansion, create space. Breathe here with your Ujjayi breath. Deep, resonant, and rhythmic inhales and exhales. Trying to become more and more aware of how our body feels to breathe, especially when we become agitated with the asanas or the postures. When you notice that you're agitated, can you come back to this peaceful quality of breathing? Using the muscles in your back of your throat to find the sounds like an ocean. And then releasing the hands down by the side, Samastitihi. We'll start with 3 sun salutation A, where we're allowing our breath to be our guide. So really staying anchored in that breath awareness throughout the entire movement practice, throughout the transitions, becoming so much more aware of how the body feels to breathe. Inhale, arms all the way up, stretch, look up. Exhale, use your exhale to fold. Inhale, opening up the chest, halfway lift. Exhale to plant the hands down and step or jump back to plank position. Once you arrive at your plank, stay here for a moment. Notice that you're engaging the low belly back towards the spine and up towards the heart. So there's no rounding in the spine. You're feeling into the shoulders. And on the exhale, if you need it, come down onto the knees, chaturanga. Elbows go straight behind you. Inhale for an upward dog, lifting up the heart. Exhale, tuck your toes under, downward dog. 5 deep rhythmic inhales and exhales. Notice here if you need to bend into one knee at a time. If you decide to bend into one knee at a time, maybe you want to move slower. The slower that we move, the more likely that we can actually release the connective tissue that's latched onto our body. So slowly moving with the exhales will allow for you to find a little bit more spaciousness and find your awareness more freely moving within your body. So staying with the breath, one more nice long inhale. Send the sitting bones a little bit higher. And from there, gaze forward. Inhale, step or walk the feet or hop the feet all the way forward. Open the chest, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale to fold, relaxing the neck. Inhale, rise. Feel your heart lift your arms and ribs all the way up. Exhale, Samastitihi, hands by the side. 2 more sun salutation A. Inhale, arms all the way up. Lift the ribs up. Exhale to slowly forward fold, moving with that exhale. Inhale, opening up the chest, halfway lifts. Exhale to plant the hands down, step or jump back, plank position. Once you arrive at your plank, notice all of the opposing energies. Yes, you're down on your palms, but you're feeling an upward energy through your palms. You're lengthening up your neck, you're pressing the crown of the head forward, you're sending your heels back behind you. Exhale, chaturanga. Come down onto the knees if you need the support. Bend the elbows behind you. Inhale, upward dog. Send your heart all the way up. Exhale, downward dog. 5 deep rhythmic inhales and exhales. We use sun salutations to get into the body. Sun salutations allow ourselves to feel more internal body heat. So let yourself notice that as you start to experience this internal body heat or this purification, you're being more aware that you have organs functioning for you. You're more aware of cellular activity within your body. So can you let yourself notice? Feel the breath here. Notice the lines of energy from the heels. Feel your inhale travel from the arches of your feet all the way up the legs. And as you come to your tailbone, feel your exhale move back down through your spine, down the crown of the head. And slowly gazing forward, inhale, walk or jump the feet forward, open the chest, half lift, exhale, fold, relaxing the neck. Inhale, rise, feel the breath move through the body, reach the ribs up, exhale, samastitihi, hands by the side. Last one, inhale, arms all the way up, stretch the ribs away from the pelvic floor, exhale, slowly fold with your exhale. Inhale, opening up the chest, half lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale to plant the hands down, step it back, plank position to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, shoulders back, exhale, downward dog. 5 deep resonant inhales and exhales, trying to soothe the nervous system once again. Notice the lines of energy moving through your body. And notice your prana as it flows through your legs. So notice with your arches, feel your inhale travel through your arches, up your legs. Once it reaches the tailbone, exhale, feel your exhale flow through your spine, out the crown of the head. One more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. Gaze forward, inhale, walk or float the feet all the way forward and open the chest, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, relaxing the neck. Slowly rise with your inhale. Exhale, Samasthiti, hands by the side. Padahastasana, stepping the feet hip distance apart. And once the feet are hip distance apart, if you have tight hamstrings, then you're going to bend into the knees once we forward fold. But if you don't have tight hamstrings, then keep your quadriceps engaged so that you can protect the backs of your knees. So hands on hips, inhale, pull your ribs away from your pelvic floor, and exhale, forward fold, placing your hands completely under your feet. Once your hands are under your feet, inhale, open up your chest, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. So if you have tight hamstrings, bend into your knees. Find your chest trying to come closer to your sitting bone, chest coming closer to your thighs. And then also notice that we're not locking the arms straight. So instead of locking the arms straight, we're actively pulling the elbows away from each other and trying to find spaciousness between our shoulders and our ears. Finding your breath, getting you just a little bit closer, and maybe on the fifth breath, maybe you can find Uddiyana energy. Maybe you can try to engage the low belly all the way back towards the spine and up towards the heart, finding your sitting bones moving up higher. And from there, slowly releasing the hands. Inhale, open it up, halfway lifts. Exhale to plant the hands down, step or jump back, plank position. Create some body heat. 5 deep resonant breaths in your plank position. Notice if you want to come onto your forearms for your plank position, or notice if you want to go onto your fists if your wrists are bothering you, or maybe you want to go onto the knees. 2 more deep rhythmic inhales. Look and investigate inside of yourself. Can you feel the breath move through your body? 1 more nice long inhale. Thank you, Alex. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward dog. From there, inhale, 3-legged dog with the right leg. Send the right leg all the way up behind you. Maybe stack the right hip over the left hip. Find a decompression in that right hip flexor. Breathe spaciousness into that right hip flexor by still trying to find equal amounts of space, pressure on both wrists. And from there, exhale, bring the right leg all the way through between the hands. Once you reach the right leg all the way through between the hands, press the left heel down. We're going to cartwheel our hands into our warrior 2. So for your warrior 2, try to find your gaze only at your right fingertips. With your gaze only at your right fingertips, your shoulders and your hip bones should be parallel to the side of your mat. Still dropping the shoulders away from the ear and trying to get rid of any curving in the low back. So neutralize the tailbone by trying to feel the tailbone nice and heavy. 1 more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. From there, flip the right palm all the way up, and then from there, reach all the way forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Finding spaciousness on the left side body, even as you start to arch your back a little bit, and exhale back to a warrior 2, triangle pose. Straighten the right leg. Exhale, bring the right arm all the way forward. Send the left hip as far back as possible. And then from there, try to find the twist happening from the pelvic floor instead of from that left shoulder. Breathe there. 2 more deep rhythmic inhales and exhales. Notice all of this length in the spine. So instead of finding so much rounding in that right side of the body, there's tons of space and length in that spine. 1 more nice long inhale. Exhale, twisted crescent lunge. Press the left hand down. Find plenty of space from your left hand to your right foot, and twist the right arm all the way up towards the sky. And then check in. Make sure that you have plenty of space between the shoulder blades, that you're trying to find activity, energetic activity for your right fingertips, pulling you all the way up towards the sky. Are you aware of your breathing? Do you notice if you're agitated that you're finding a deeper exhalation? 1 more slow rhythmic inhale and exhale. Send the right hand all the way down. Slide the right leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. Open up that right hip once again. And then notice here if you want to go into your wild thing or not. If you want to go into your wild thing, it's like a modified side plank. Decompress that left shoulder and lift the heart, hip bones face up. Exhale, send the right hand back down. Inhale the right leg back up. And now this is your opportunity to do as your body pleases. Either a down dog, vinyasa, or child's pose. Listen to your body. If you choose a vinyasa, inhale to a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe deeply. Let your nervous system reset. Noticing how it feels to deeply exhale into your body. One more slow rhythmic inhale. Exhale. Left side. Three-legged dog with the left leg. And decompress that left hip. Notice yourself sending that left hip over the right hip if possible. Stacking the hips over one another, finding the release of the psoas. Stretch through the psoas. Breathe into that space there and exhale, bring the left foot all the way through for warrior two. So before you slide up into your warrior two, check the alignment of your body. You want to make sure that your left knee is right over the left heel. You can come up now if you want, Alex. You want to make sure that your left knee is directly over the left heel and that you're also trying to find an external rotation of the left hip. So instead of allowing the left knee to go inside the line of your left heel, you're trying to continuously feel the external rotation on that left hip and then notice that there's no curving in the low back or that you're trying to remove all of the curving from your low back. Breathe there. One more nice long inhale. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ear, engaging the low belly. Left palm lifts up. Lunge forward all the way. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Feel yourself decompressing the right side by lifting through your left rib cage. Exhale back to a warrior two. Inhale, triangle pose. Straighten the left leg. Exhale, send the hips as far back as possible first. And then release the left hand down. Alex is grabbing his big toe because we're Ashtangis. But if you don't practice Ashtanga or care for it, then try to find either your hand will come onto your left shin, on the outside of the left shin, the ankle, the outside of it, or behind the left foot. And what we're looking for is eventually to feel a deep external rotation on both hips and lifting up the right arm, noticing that we're trying to remove any of the curving on the left side of our body. Find length through the spine, finding the twist happening from the pelvic floor. One more nice long inhale. Exhale, right hand goes down, twisted crescent lunge. Plenty of space from the right palm to your left foot. And then notice again that you're trying to find energy through that lifted arm. So instead of collapsing into your right hand, notice, find energy pulling the left fingertips up, find energy through that back heel pressing behind you, and find length in your neck. One more deep inhale. Slow exhale to bring the left hand down, slide the left leg back behind you, three-legged dog. And notice here if you want to go into your wild thing or not. If you don't want to go into your wild thing, that's okay. But wild thing is a modified side plank. So try to make sure that you're supporting that right shoulder, trying to keep the right shoulder directly over the right wrist, and that you're pivoting your hip bones up towards the sky. On the exhale, bring the left hand back down, left leg back up, and then find what your body craves, either a vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. But whatever you choose, do it with your breath. So come back to that beautiful rhythmic inhale and slow, peaceful exhale. Breathe 5 breaths. 4. Notice the quality of your breathing. How has it shifted from when we first started the practice? Can you return back to that beautiful, slow, long inhale and exhale? One more. Deep, long inhale. Slow exhale. And from there, inhale, three-legged dog with the right leg. Setting the right leg all the way up. And on the exhale, lunge the right foot between the hands. Now we're going to go ahead and let the left knee come down onto the mat. And with the left knee coming down onto the mats, you can go ahead and untuck the left toes if you'd like. But what I want you to pay attention to is that the left hip is trying to open. So instead of bringing your left hip directly over the left knee and your right knee directly over the right heel, you're lunging forward deeply into that right leg. If it's bothering your knees, then double up your mat underneath the knees. And then from there, bring your right elbow onto your right knee. And on the inhale, reach the left arm up through your heart. Feel your heart lift up your arm. At the same time, slide your shoulder blades down your spine, trying not to compress too much on the lower spine. Feel the lift through the ribs, and at the same time, energetically feel yourself pressing your tailbone down. And slowly exhale to reach that left arm over towards the right. As you reach the left arm towards the right, notice that we're not trying to keep the shoulder to our ear. So create space. Another nice long inhale. Feel the psoas stretching. And from there, slowly let your left hand come back down. You're going to wiggle the right foot out slightly, and you're going to press your right palm inside of the right knee and let your right foot lift up off the mat. So, Alex, if you don't mind me coming. So essentially, it's going to look something like this. And notice how instead of collapsing into your left shoulder, you're going to still try to feel lifted. So none of this. You're going to try to feel lifted from your heart, and you're going to let the inside of your right foot come up off the mat, and you're going to press onto the inside of that right knee and let that right hip externally rotate. It's 11-11, make a wish. Lift up your heart. Breathe. One more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. Bring the right knee back in. Lift the left knee up, and then slide the right leg back behind you. Sliding the right leg back up into a three-legged dog. Opening up the right hip once again. Decompress that right hip. Exhale to bring the right leg through for pigeon on your right side. So once you come into pigeon on your right side, if you have any knee joint pain, then you can do pigeon laying down on your back by simply bending into the left knee, ankle onto the left knee, and inside that little triangle, you're going to place your hand so you can lift the left thigh up. So if what Alex is doing is too painful, then come down to laying down on your back and do one of these guys. Notice that for your pigeon, you want to make sure that your right knee is in line with the right hip, that you don't have your right hip outside of the line of your knee. So find yourself nice and centered. And then from there, inhale, lengthen up the spine. Pull your rib cage up away from pelvic floor. Exhale to your first layer of resistance. So find that first layer of resistance instead of going deeply into it right away. So honor yourself and where you are at this time in your life. Please be so much more mindful that you want to be compassionate towards your existence. So instead of going at your normal capacity, maybe today you're noticing that you want to be so much more gentle with yourself. And also noticing if eventually with time you notice yourself melting into the mat a little bit deeper. But when you first begin, let yourself notice the breath. And this is where you train the mind. Whenever there's stillness in our gross body, in our physical body, try to become more aware of the movement in your subtle body. Can you investigate what it feels like between the shoulder blades, throughout your neck? Notice what your jaw feels like. And notice the breath here. Trying to find the external rotation of the right hip. Noticing what it feels like to feel more spacious. Can you scan your body and flow your awareness all throughout each part slowly? And then notice the part of your body that is asking for more compassion. Wherever you're holding on to more tension, Let your awareness linger there for a moment. And then draw in the inhale from that part of your body. Exhale into that same part of your body. One more. Let yourself notice a nice in-breath entering from where you feel the most tension. Exhale into that same part. Slowly starting to press the palms back down under the shoulders. Tucking the left toes under, scooting the left foot closer to the body. Pressing your palms down under the shoulders. Send the right leg back behind you, three-legged dog. Notice if you want another wild thing so you can decompress the hips, or if you just want to have three-legged dog here so you can open up that right hip flexor. Listen to your body, notice what your body is asking for. Please don't do what I say, listen more closely to what your inner teacher is telling you. And from there, bringing the right foot back down. If you want a vinyasa to cycle through the stagnation, you can go for it. Otherwise, inhale, left leg up. And once your left leg comes up, find spaciousness there on that left side body. Exhale, bring that left foot all the way through between the hands. If it doesn't reach between the hands on the first try like it did for Alex, that's totally okay. Just keep wiggling the foot because you want plenty of space from your front foot to your back foot. Bringing the right knee down, letting the right foot come untucked. And then from there, when you're ready, peel your chest away from that thigh. And then bring your left hand onto the left elbow onto the left knee. From there, notice that what we're looking for is a deep inner right hip flexor stretch. So sending yourself forward into your left foot without letting the knee pass your toes. And then from there, inhale, lift the rib cage up away from pelvic floor. Exhale, reach the right arm over towards the left side. Still trying to keep the shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. Finding the breath. Noticing what your neck is asking for. Trying to feel expansive through your chest. Noticing the release of the psoas muscle on the right side. One more breath there. Exhale to bring the right hand down. Wiggle the left foot out slightly closer towards the edge of your mat. And then press the left hand inside of the left knee. So we're trying to open up that left hip. We're trying to externally rotate and open up that left hip. And from there, the inside of your left foot will come up off of your mat. And instead of collapsing into that right shoulder, create space in that right shoulder, lift up your heart. It's a beautiful day today. Looking up towards that left shoulder maybe. Letting yourself twist through your spine. Breathe through the twist. One more nice long inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand back down. Send the left leg back behind you, three-legged dog. We're gonna unlock the left hip flexor once again, just before we go into pigeon. So decompress that left hip flexor and exhale into pigeon on your left side. Again, if this is hurting your knee joint at all, then we can do this laying down on your back. If you're in this position, we want to make sure that the left knee is in the line of the left hip, and that you aren't collapsed onto the side, and that your left knee isn't too far out either. So from there, inhale, pull your rib cage away from your pelvic floor. Exhale, forward folds. Find your first layer of resistance. No need to superhero it and go so far into it today. Listen to your body. Meet that first layer with compassion. After several breaths, maybe then you'll want to go a little bit deeper. So if you want to go into this laying down on your back, come down to laying down, bend in, right bend. You're going to bring the left ankle onto the right knee. And then from there, you're going to lift the right foot up off the mat and squeeze that right leg into your body. If you have incredibly tight hips, then maybe you want to roll a pillow under the left sitting bone, and that'll give you a little bit more of a support because you're a little bit higher off the mat. So let yourself notice that you can use the props in your house. If you're super flexible, like Alex is here, or even if you're not, I like to grab my nieces at this point in the practice and place my nieces right on the sacrum area of my lower back. That allows for me to feel gravity push down a little bit more on my body so I can unlock the hips. So call in a niece or a daughter or something and find them, support your practice. At the same time, can you continue to journey inward? Moving from the gross body. So noticing where you feel tension. Instead of just staying stuck in that gross body sensation, can you become so much more aware that that part of your body is composed of millions, billions of cells? Can you observe that part of your body? And instead of being resentful for tightness in the body, or instead of identifying with the pain or discomfort, can you allow yourself instead to let your breath penetrate and saturate this cluster of cells? Notice the breath flow and expand these cells. Deeply inhaling and exhaling into those parts of your body. One more nice long inhale into wherever you feel the most tension right now. Deeply exhale into that same part. And from there, pressing the palms back down under the shoulders. Tucking the right toes under, scooting the right foot closer to the body. Once you have your palms down under the shoulders, notice how you can almost go into a plank position to send the left leg back behind you into a three-legged dog. And if you want your wild thing once again to decompress that left hip, go for it. Otherwise, you can just stack your left hip over the right hip. And then from there, either find a vinyasa, a down dog, or a child's pose. Five breaths in your downward dog or child's pose. Becoming more aware of the breath and how the breath feels as it flows through the body. Let yourself notice your spine and maybe ask yourself to investigate your breath flowing through your spine. One more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. And from there, coming into a plank position. Once you come into your plank position, mindful of your elbows and shoulders, come all the way onto the belly. Once you come all the way onto the belly, inhale to reach the left arm out to the side. So stretch your left, yeah. So the left arm will go out this way instead of up or down. Just bring the left arm directly out to the side, let your palm face down. And then from there, bend into the right knee and roll gently onto that left shoulder. Let the head relax here. So notice how it feels to let the head relax and feel supported. So I'm going to just show you what Alex looks like really quickly. Noticing how he has his right arm in front of him. If you want, you can also wrap your right arm behind your back. The left leg is straight. And then find the breath. Can you investigate these lines of energy that the yogis call nadis? So the yogis believe that we have something like 72,000 lines of energy or nadis. So throughout these lines of energy is where our prana or our life force or our chi travels through. So let yourself in the stillness try to investigate, especially when you breathe, you can start to observe these lines of energy. So let yourself notice what it feels like. to scan together with your breath. Let your focus move together with your breathing throughout your entire body. And listen to your body. If it's hurting your shoulder, don't stay in it. This is your opportunity to cultivate your own inner teacher. Letting yourself notice if you need to ease up off of that left shoulder at any point. If so, then please be mindful with your transitions. Your transitions are almost as important as the actual final posture. One more breath here. Let your heart feel wide open. Exhale to come all the way back down onto the belly. And from there, reach the left hand back under the left shoulder. Inhale, extend the right arm out to the side. And slowly move onto that right shoulder. Let your head relax onto the mats. And then we're looking for a stretch through the psoas. We're looking for an opening of that right shoulder. So let yourself notice here if maybe you cannot roll completely over onto the side. So noticing that Alex's left leg is bent behind on the opposite side of the mat. Maybe you don't want to go completely all the way. Please listen to your body and where you are today. Understand that every single human is completely different. All of our life experiences create different layers of tension within our body. So let yourself investigate these nadis and let yourself investigate your life force of prana or breath as it moves and creates awareness throughout each of your cells. Slowing down the revolutions of the mind because we're paying more attention to the breath. Slowly coming back down to laying down on the belly. And once you come back down to laying down on the belly, pressing the hands directly under the shoulders. You guys are strong. I know you can do this. If you need the extra support, you can come onto the knees first. But with all of your prana, with all of that chi that we've been moving around within our body, pressing your hands down under the shoulders, you're going to slowly exhale, press up into a plank position. Once you arrive in your plank position, take a nice long inhale there. And exhale into your downward dog. Find your tailbone pull all the way up towards the sky. Find your pelvic floor pulling up towards the sky. Noticing length in the low back. Feeling a hollowness in the low belly. Feel the low belly float through the ribs. One more nice long exhale, gaze forward. Step opposite foot to opposite wrist to come into a cross-legged seated position. Or if Alex wants to jump forward into straight legs, he can also do that. So crossing opposite foot to opposite wrist encourages me to use my low belly, sucking that up towards the heart and lifting up the hips. And then eventually I can bring my hips down. Once you come down to a seated position, laying down on your back for back bending. So for the back bending today, notice if you want to go into the full wheel, understand that we've had a lot more stress in our lives. So our heart might not be as open today. Or maybe you want to try it because you feel warmed up enough. So for your back bend, notice if you want to go into bridge. So for bridge, do you want to demo bridge really quickly? Yeah, just interlacing the fingers. The knees are in the same line as the hips and the heels are in line with your toes or slightly outside the line of your toes. And then breathe, trying to decompress the psoas. And also at the same time, trying not to let the knees go out. So 5 breaths in bridge or wheel, your journey, your practice. We're going to do 2 rounds of back bending. So notice what feels right for you today if you want to go into bridge or wheel. One more nice long inhale. Deeply exhale. Slowly connect your spine back down onto the mat. Squeezing the knees into the chest. Give your knees a big hug. Go side to side on the low back. And round 2. Either wheel or bridge. If you want to go into wheel, then you're pointing your fingertips towards your shoulders like Alex is doing. But if you're going to go into your wheel, Notice that I don't want you to let your elbows go out to the side. If your elbows go out to the side when you're trying to press up, that means that you can potentially injure a shoulder. Instead, you're continuously trying to send the elbows back behind you, and you're trying to make your gaze go all the way back towards your heel. So you're completely dropping your head back behind you. And then try to find yourself sending your hip bones back, these hip bones going back towards your elbows, lifting up the heart. 2 more breaths. Your elbows pointing directly behind you. 1 more nice long inhale. Don't let your knees open out towards the sides. Deep exhale. And slowly come back down onto your spine. I lost the live. Squeezing your knees into your chest. Go side to side on the low back. Keep going side to side. And then from there, roll up and down along the spine, or keep going side to side. If you roll up and down along the spine, maybe you want to find a vinyasa to move through that stagnation. Or if you don't, just keep on going side to side, squeezing your knees into your chest. Listen to your body and where you are today in your practice. Finding your breath awareness, guiding your movements. Once you come back, let yourself come to laying down on your back. And once you come to laying down on your back, shoulder stands. So for shoulder stands, if you don't want to compress or you don't want to put any weight on your cervical spine, first of all, shoulder stand should never be felt on your cervical spine. It should be felt all along your shoulders. So instead of going into shoulder stand like Alex is doing here, and by the way, how he's doing it by coming into a straight line, notice that his hands are not towards his lower back. That he's squeezed his elbows in towards one another, and in squeezing his elbows in towards one another, he can walk his hands towards his mid back to support straightening up his back. Noticing the chin coming away from the chest, feeling spacious in the cervical spine, or if you just want to bring your feet directly up over hips, this also feels really wonderful. Find your breath here. 5 more slow, peaceful, pranic-filled breaths. 2, 1. Stay here. If you didn't come up all the way like Alex did, if you came up like Alex did, then halasana. Let the toes go past the head. Let the toes come onto the earth, pressing the palms back down onto the earth. Otherwise, just keep on being here with me if you didn't go into shoulder stands. 4 more breaths. 3, 2, rhythmic breathing, guys. 1. And from there, if you're in what Alex is doing, then slowly come back to laying down on the back for a vinyasa, or go ahead and just come to bringing your knees into a bend. And then from there, side to side on the low back once again. Once you come to laying down on your back, once again, squeezing the knees into the chest, we're going to roll forward slowly into 1 more vinyasa. For this one last vinyasa, notice that you don't have to go full power mode. Vinyasas aren't always about sweating it up. It can be just a little bit more subtle awareness of the breath opening up your body. So, rolling up and down along the spine, and don't go at your own pace, or try to lengthen up your breathing. So instead of moving quickly through it because you want to power through it, move a little bit slower. So you're going to come forward into your plank position. Maybe you're on your knees for your plank. Take a nice long inhale. Exhale, gently bend the elbows behind you. Inhale, upward dog. Stay at your upward dog. Lift your chest. Create space in your neck. Open up your heart space. Energize your toes pressing behind you. Exhale, downward dog. Noticing the subtle differences in this last downward dog compared to your very first downward dog. Do you notice a difference in your energy after an entire hour of rhythmic breathing? Can you become more aware now of sensitizing your body and journeying inward so you find more space between your thoughts? Find your breath here as it flows and enters from the arches of your feet. Feel your inhale travel through the insides of the legs, reaching the pelvic floor, and then exhale. Feel the exhale slide down the spine through the crown of the head. One more like that. Inhale through the arches. Feel the inhale travel up the legs to the tailbone, and then feel the exhale release down and out through the spine, out the crown of the head. Gazing forward towards the top of the mat, step or hop forward into a cross-legged seated position. Laying down on the back once again. Going side to side on the low back. Noticing if you want to do a spinal twist, one last spinal twist here. You can go for it. Otherwise, moving into happy baby. So once you come into your happy baby, and you can stay in your spinal twist a little bit longer if you want, which is just twisting over to the side and stacking the hips over one another. If you go into your happy baby, really grabbing the outsides of the feet and trying to go slowly side to side, so you massage the low back. And then in your happy baby, noticing if you want to extend the left leg out to the side and keep the right knee bent, bring the right heel in towards the groin. And then as you exhale, switch. Left heel comes in towards the groin, extend the right leg out towards the side. Moving slowly side to side. And then from there, bringing the hands and feet straight up towards the sky. Shake, 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 shake. Let it go. Let that crap go. Shake it out of your system. All of the stress is held in our body and lodges itself in our body. Let it go. Let it go. Shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. And release. Shavasana. Arriving in your Shavasana, let yourself take up space on your mat. So instead of holding your body inward, let your arms roll open. Let your feet roll out. Let your hips externally rotate. If your lower back is bothering you, then let yourself bend into your knees if you need it. But take rest. And let yourself scan your body here. Notice what it feels like to have this residual energy flow through your body. Can you feel that aliveness moving through your system because of the shake, because of the movements together with the breath? And maybe you can even find that moment when you're in your Shavasana. Maybe you can find that moment when your heart rate transitions back into its natural rhythm. So train the mind to strengthen its ability to let go. Give yourself that permission to truly be here, resetting yourself. Look inside with your breath. Let your breathing guide your awareness. Each time you notice that you're distracted with thinking thoughts, give yourself permission to let go of those thoughts. And let yourself investigate what it feels like throughout your entire subtle body. Can you give yourself that permission to become more curious of what your inner world feels like? Noticing the parts of your body that are calling for more attention. Can you let yourself linger in those parts of your body? And once again, find the compassion of your breath, making space where you feel tension. Beginning to notice the deeper layers of your existence. Beyond your gross physical body. Allowing yourself to experience the ever-changing movement of your cells, your tissues. And maybe even noticing yourself boundless by your skin. Feeling so much more aware of the vibrations of your cells. Allowing you to notice how we're all connected through these vibrations. So remember to protect yourself and fill yourself up with compassion and kindness. And once you feel that you're protected with this love and kindness, direct that energy out to those that need it most right now. Sending out this loving energy you've cultivated through this hour of practice. Send it out to the medical workers, those that are still working at the supermarkets. Noticing your expansive love and compassion growing with each inhale. And then from there, slowly beginning to wiggle through the fingers and toes once again. And as you invite movement back into your body, move slowly. Move slowly, noticing your forearms coming back online, your shins, your calves. And then notice what happens to your body with your next slow, long inhale. Can you reach your arms overhead and point through your toes? Lengthen up your whole system. And as you exhale, squeezing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. Going side to side on the low back. And slowly letting yourself come into a fetal position on whatever side is calling you. There's no wrong answer. Can you let yourself feel held in your own loving awareness? Maybe can you recall and imagine the youngest version of yourself that you can remember, and witness, observe this more wise and compassionate version of who you are now, holding that younger version. When you're ready, let yourself come into a comfortable seat with your eyes closed. Taking a nice long inhale, hold it at your heart space. When it reaches the top of your inhale, noticing the aliveness at your heart space. Open the lips. One more time, just like that. Slow, long inhale. Notice the inhale move through your body. Holding it at the top of your inhale. Feel that energy at your chest. Noticing here for a moment. Pause. And then we'll close out the practice with one Om, trying to observe the vibrations of our voice as it resonates within our system. And maybe also noticing the vibrations that we put out into the world through our voice. Deep, long inhale. Thank you guys so much. Namaste. Gracias. Thank you guys. Is it still even recording? Is it cut off?
Mine's on.
Okay, cool.